Hey guys, it's Due Diligence here. I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about the hypocrisy of government today, as well as crony capitalism, corporatism, and the rise of fascism, really. Most of you know about Michael Taylor. He's the former VP for public policy for the company of Monsanto. And if you don't know about Monsanto, I urge you to look into it and its dangers. There's plenty of good videos on YouTube regarding that, and I'm sure you can find plenty of articles uh, as well as the history of all of the other countries banning it in their countries. But this has to do with our food supply and how it's been poisoned. He is also, as well as a former vice president for Monsanto, now the deputy commissioner for foods with the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. So he's regulating his old business or his old employer, which is sort of a conflict of interest, and that kicks off really our Venn diagram, uh, brought to you by geek.us, GEKE.us/Venn diagrams, VENNDIAGRAMS.html. If you visit that URL, you can find all of these. I'll link you below. But here it is. A wide variety of Venn diagram memes or infographics that will really shed some light on the crossover between dual employers for these people that really provides a conflict of interest. It's not just that they are in government as well as held other jobs in these large corporations. It's that most of these people are in positions that are regulating their former employers, which is a conflict of interest, in my opinion. So we'll go right through this. It's going to take a little bit. I'm trying to fit it down here, less than 15 minutes. So right away, we've got Monsanto, and you can see the list of positions that were held by Monsanto employers and their positions here in the federal government on the left. So it's just very interesting to see the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, the Bush administration, Lisa Fisher, the VP Government and Public Affairs for Monsanto, was also the deputy admin for the EPA. Isn't that interesting? Lydia Waytrude, manager of new technologies, also works in the USDA and EPA departments under the Clinton, Bush, and Obama administrations. Interesting again. Deputy Commissioner for the FDA under the Obama administration, Michael Taylor, which we spoke about above. You can find him here. Don't forget Hillary Clinton. She worked for Monsanto, the Rose Law firm, on the Monsanto Council. And, of course, she's been a senator. She's run for president. She was the Secretary of State. She was also the First Lady. So, yeah, you can see that. I won't go too much into detail into these. The next one here is GE, General Electric, which is a big corporation. The CEO of GE was also the chairman of the CJC under the Obama administration. The Assistant Attorney General under the Obama administration was also working for the Core Environmental Program. The VP and General Manager was also Deputy Secretary of Commerce under the Obama administration. The list goes on. This one goes as far back as Carter and Reagan administrations, as well as Clinton and Obama and the Democratic Party. GE also built or took part in building the Fukushima Daiichi plant that is leaking radiation into the ocean as we speak, as well as many other plants around the world that are breaking down and will eventually see a similar fate to Fukushima, I imagine. And they're going to try to get the populace to front the bill and to deal with these damages and to fund it themselves, when really it's their responsibility to take care of this. I know at the San Onofre power plant, GE's sort of been trying to back off from taking responsibility, and been trying to put that more on the cities in which they're in, and the populace for their call for a need for protection of the environment as well as the health standards of those around them. So you can see the connections here between GE and the federal and state governments. Fannie Mae was in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The CEO, Franklin Raines, was also the White House budget director under the Clinton administration. Several other White House budgets from Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae gives out loans. So how is that possible that they're working on within the federal government while also having these conflicts of interest in their work and employment history? So you see more with the Obama administration down below. Comcast, so cable television. We see that FCC commissioners, so the people regulating these corporations, have a history of working within the corporations that they're regulating. More conflicts of interest. This should be illegal. I believe this is illegal. Going ahead. Media, so media in general, NAB, CBS News, Washington Times, AP, Fox News, Vanity Fair, CBS, CNN, ABC News, CBS News, PBS, Comcast NBC, Chicago Tribune, LA Times, CNN, and PBS. These organizations have had their employees' hands in the federal government, the majority of which were on Democratic or Republican Party through senators or staff for the senators, as well as the Clinton administration. Here we have Dee Myers, who was a contributing editor for Vanity Fair, also was the White House press secretary. CBS, the vice president of Corporation Communications, Lisa Caputo, was the press secretary for the First Lady's office under the Clinton administration. The commissioner for the FCC under the Bush and Obama administration, Meredith Baker, was the senior vice president of government affairs for Comcast NBC. We just see this crossover a lot. So I'll go on and highlight some more. Here's Disney in the federal government, lobbyists for the FCC staff. So they're a lobbyist for Disney, yet also under the Clinton administration. Bill Bailey was working on the FCC staff that was regulating Disney and the corporation I will assume, formally worked for. But that's not to say that there's no connection still between the two. She has a bias. Whether it's good or bad, she has a bias more than likely. So why is she being allowed on that staff when there's that conflict of interest? VP Communications, Lisa Caputo, White House staff for the Clinton administration. More from Susan Fox, the VP of Government Relations for Disney, was on the FCC staff for Clinton. Bush, the chief of staff from the FCC, Marcia McBride, under Bush's administration, was also the VP Government Relations for Disney at one point. And that goes on. It's interesting. Department Secretary of Commerce, Dennis Hightower, Senior Executive Officer of Disney. AFL-CIO, lobbyists, political directors, all working on the White House or with for Clinton or Obama administrations, or with the senators under the Democratic Party. Planned Parenthood. This is a topical one with recent news having to do with Planned Parenthood and their requirement to cover more. Let's see, it says the lobbyist for Planned Parenthood, or the president of Planned Parenthood, the vice president of public policy and advocacy for Planned Parenthood, board members, another president for the PR and government relations department. They all have held other positions working with or as a part of the Democratic Party, I guess, and also the Obama administration, in such positions as the White House Chief Counsel, Director of Policy and Projects. You can read that for yourself if you want to go check it out. Social networking sites such as Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and Twitter, they also have their share of employee outreach program where they somehow land jobs with the federal government. Jamie Brown, a lobbyist for Google, it was on Bush's White House staff. Let's see if we got something current right here. Internal consultant for Google, Yul Kwan. Also, Department Chief of Government Affairs for the FCC. The lobbyist, Sonal Shah from Google. Also, White House staff for Obama administration. VP of Government Affairs for Google, Andrew McLaughlin. White House staff for Obama administration. You know, it goes on, it goes on. The head of Global Public Policy for Twitter, Colin Crowell. It's also senior counselor for the FCC under the Obama administration. So, we wonder why these larger corporations can somehow get away with what smaller businesses wouldn't be able to do. And it's because they know their business route before they release it to the public. And so before people understand how these new laws that these corporations themselves are trying to change or put in place to benefit their business model and their next step for their business plan, they basically are holding the cards or putting the cards in their place using their monetary stronghold, I'll say. Here's big tobacco. We see a lot of lobbyists and their connections to the Democratic or Republican parties to get bills on the board and with support, as well as working with presidential administrations going back as far back as Carter, as well as being a part of the Clinton and Bush and Obama administrations. Motion Picture Association of America, there's a plethora, chairman of FTC, senior advisor of EDA for the Obama administration, Angela Martinez, John Leibovitz, were the VP Corporate Communications and the VP of Congressional Affairs. Both ended up in Obama's administration somehow. The White House spokesperson, Kate Bedingfield, was the director of the Department of Strategic Communications for the Motion Picture Association of America. So there's a connection to not only television with Comcast, but the motion picture, Hollywood, cinema industry. Going ahead, Walmart. We know that Walmart has this big connection with the U.S. military as they're trying to get more jobs specifically for military and provide food to their employees, all that. That was sort of a pairing, a partnership with the Obama administration to boost morale for the economy here and boost local jobs in America. So what we see here is a lot of Bush administration working with this, but not so much Obama administration yet, although Democrat and Republican parties both have had lobbyists from Walmart as a part of their work history. Keystone Pipeline and Democrat connections. Enron. And if you don't know about Enron, you should look into it. There was a scandal, and much of the evidence for this scandal was lost in the World Trade Center collapse of World Trade Center Building 7 on 9/11. So you can go in there and see the lobbyist, the director, the senior director of government affairs, all having connections with the Clinton, Bush, and Obama administration, as well as the Democrat Party. Defense contractors, this is a big one. Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. Lobbyists, vice presidents, board members, chiefs, directors, board of directors, senior vice presidents of government operations, all have played their part in both the Clinton and Obama administrations, as well as the Democratic Party. Green energy, Growth Energy, Sure Power Corps, their lobbyists and their vice presidents, their advisors, they've held positions on the Clinton and Obama administrations, as well as the Democratic parties. Big oil, that's a big one. They have held lots of positions both. Pharmaceuticals, of course, that's another big one. Pfizer, farm manufacturers, Perry and Romani, etc. Goldman Sachs, another big one. So you can see that for yourself, the Venn diagrams, and that's it for now.